Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream today. I hope everybody's doing good today. So we're going to be turning a pen, I thought, today. I said today like 5 times just now. So anyway, we're going to be doing a nautical theme pen with the rope blank that we made using the die stabilized rope that Curtis sent in. So I'm pretty excited about this pen kit. Let's see here. How do I do this? Try and get this camera to focus on these little guys. Look at this little cool pen kit thing. That's the end, and there's the nib area. It's not wanting to focus on that one ever. Maybe if I zoom out a little bit, it's not showing, but it's got some cool like a ship on it, and then the little clip is an anchor. Look at that, pretty cool. So let me switch camera views so you can see the blank. There it is. I'll spin it around a little bit. So we got rope embedded in this, and I'm a little bit disappointed. I think that next time I do this, and I want to do this again, I want to put more rope, but look at how cool that is. That's pretty neat. So what I'm hoping is that some of these areas that you can't see it on the outside, the rope is on the inside, like right where, you know, like the thickness that we want. Whoa. So anyway, so we're going to turn up a pen. It should be a pretty simple one. It's just a single blank. Pretty easy. Now, one thing that I realized is I don't have the bushings for this thing. This is what I hate about pen turning. I thought that I was reading the instructions, and I thought that it said that you need the same bushings as like a Sierra. It was a different kit, but it was something else. And I realized after I had bought it and not bought the bushings to go with it, that I don't have the bushings for the Nautical pen kit, which also works with this, that, and the other thing, whatever. So we're going to be using, I rummaged through my bushings, and I found some that I think are basic. They might actually be the right ones, but I think they might be a little bit skinnier than the parts, but it's the right tube size. So we're going to use those bushings, and this is actually a good thing because they're a little smaller than what I need to get to. So I'm going to use calipers to just dial in the ends. That way I can just kind of sneak up on it, and hopefully when we're done, my caliper readings and all that kind of stuff will produce a pen that, or you know, a blank that meets up with the components. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. I've done this a few times before. Not too tough, but I'll tell you what, it is just a lot easier to not even have to think about it, and just, you know, you got the bushing there. So a little bit of fun to turn this thing, but should be pretty easy. I wanted to mention a couple things. If you haven't seen them yet, we have these autism awareness pen blanks that I've been making tons of. They're on pre-order right now on my website. Let me actually go get the link to these guys so that you can check them out. I wanted to mention that the first, so people have been ordering them. I don't know exactly which day I like launched them or whatever, or put the listing up. But basically the first probably half of the orders that came in, they should be going out. I should be sending your blanks probably on Friday. Actually, I will be sending your blanks on Friday. It just depends on how many people were in the front of that. And then pretty much I think that everybody else's should be going out on Monday. I just have to wait for the blanks to fully cure before I can send them out. But they're all pretty much ready. I have enough to cover all the orders made. It's just a matter of waiting at this point for the magic time. Alumilite Clear Slow Set has a full cure schedule of 5 days. Technically, you could accelerate that by heating them up in the oven. I've never tested that, and I just don't know if it causes if there's anything that happens because of that. And I don't really feel like it's not really that important for me to rush these things out. 5 days is not that big of a deal. So I don't do the heat curing kind of thing. But if you're in a pinch, you can heat cure them and accelerate that cure process. Alumilite's got all the information, and each resin I think is kind of a little bit different for a post-cure schedule. But I just wanted to kind of mention that. So I got my link here. Let's put this in the chat room here. So if anybody wants to check them out, like I said, you'll check out and it'll say back ordered. Like I said, I'm making them. They are technically back ordered because they're not in the system yet, but I'll be updating, like I said, about half of them I think tomorrow night will go into the system, and then the first probably half of the orders that came in will go out Friday. So pretty cool, pretty fun. Let's see here. The other thing that I want to mention is, I know that a lot of you guys that come to the stream a lot, we're doing a giveaway this weekend for the extra molds that Chad gave me. So Chad originally gave me these, and they're 3/4 inch tube or slots. And technically I really wanted the 7/8. I didn't realize. I asked Chad if he would mind if we just gave this away, and then he sent me the 7/8 ones that I wanted. So we have a whole set. So there's going to be one winner. It comes with one of the demold racks. Let me show you. It's kind of hard. I didn't want to unpackage that thing. But the demold rack thing, the way these work, this thing would sit on the desk, but the way these molds work, they have little plugs in the bottom, and you can use a punch to punch them out. There's no disassembling or doing any of that kind of stuff with these. And so if you need to use a punch and tap them out, this demold rack is really the way to go. You can't, the first time that I used these, I tried holding them and tapping them, and the problem is your hand's moving. So you need something that'll secure that mold in place if you tap it. However, I will say I don't even use this thing. I actually unboxed this thing just for the video on Sunday. The way that I do it is if you give it a little bit of a spray down with your Stoner mold release, and then make sure that you give it enough time to fully set up. So usually for pen blanks, I usually wait about 4 hours. Definitely if you wait overnight. When you take out these things, you just take an air gun blow nozzle, and they just fly. Like literally, you can shoot them across the room. It's kind of fun. So that's a much more fun way, I think, than tapping them out. But anyway, there's going to be, like I said, it's going to be one winner. You're going to win a set of these. So there's a 2 blank mold, a 5 blank, and then you get a demold rack just in case. It is handy to have just in case something gets stuck in there. You can kind of tap it out. And you just use those little Harbor Freight transfer punches. And it's a 1/4 inch, and you can just kind of pop it out of there. Pretty cool. So be looking for that video. It's actually going to be a full video. It's not just like we're having a giveaway and that's it. It's going to be a video using these. A lot of you guys have seen the graffiti, I call it graffiti method, but I just did a quick video to kind of show how I use these molds. I think that these molds, the slotted ones, are a really cool way to get an easy graffiti look. They just make things pretty easy. So did a video on how to do that, and then at the end there's a code that you'll leave a comment down in the comments of that video on YouTube, and you get entered, and then I'll pick a winner in about a week. The other thing is, and don't tell anyone, Chad is giving us a discount code as well. So Turner's Warehouse, there's going to be a 10% discount code. That's kind of a big deal because Chad doesn't do giveaways, and I called him and said, hey, I'm going to do that giveaway for the molds. Would you be interested in doing a discount code? And he's kind of like, well, I don't really do that usually, but for your viewers, cool. So be looking for that if you need to stock up on anything from Turner's Warehouse. That code is going to be good from this Sunday. It's going to start until the next Monday. So giveaways. So basically the nice thing about that is everybody wins, whether you won the molds or not. Everybody gets the discount code. So be looking for that video. It's I'm editing it right now. Not right now, obviously, but tonight I will probably get it edited. So be looking for that. It's going to be, I think, a pretty cool video, especially if you don't know what I'm talking about with the graffiti style that I do. It's a super simple method to get really cool looking blanks. So that was a lot of talking. Let me stop real quick, see who's here. I saw Doug's here, and Jen, and Art's here. Nice. And Mike McEwen. And Amanda from Indiana. That's a mouthful right there. And let's see here. Steven's here. Dave's Creations, Sean Taylor. Man, lots of people here already. Did I see Grizzly? I was spinning by and I don't know. Nope, Grin Whizzle, that's what it was. How's it going? Cool. And Brian Roberts. All right, so let's switch camera views. I got a different view. Somebody in the comments of the last video that I was turning a pen was like that nose cone thing. It's like super shiny and annoying. And so that was a good comment. So what I've done is I've just kind of zoomed in on the pen straight above it, and we'll see how that goes on this one. So let me switch views here. There it is. And I still have that's actually not the right one. I still have the little workshop view down in the bottom corner. It's right here. So, couple little notes real quick before we begin. I wanted to mention, so what I have, these are like your standard bushings, that go on a pen mandrel. And these are Brian, tbcbushings.com, Brian's adapter bushings. These are the greatest thing on the planet. So they fit into your standard bushings that go on a mandrel, but they have the 60-degree cone that fit on your between centers, your live center and your dead center. So that's what we have now. Now, I don't like having one extra thing in here. The best way to go is to put your TBC bushing straight into your blank. But since I don't have these bushings in TBC, this is the next best thing. And it keeps you away from having to use a mandrel, which is really one of the greatest things ever. I really don't like mandrels. So let me get a drink real quick. I'm going to start out just cutting the corners. Most of you guys know that I just don't like the way carbide, like your scraper tools. I don't like them with squaring up blanks. Now, granted, I may not know the trick to doing that, but I just find it easier to use a cutting tool. So we will start with that. I think it's all sharp enough anyway. So here we go. Oh, I got to get my phone out really quick so that I can look at the comments. Let me just turn the lathe off for a second here. And what am I doing? Sorry, somebody sent me a message that I was like, hey, can I have a link to Chad's website? I'm like, it would have been just as easy to Google it. So here we go. Open that up. I don't want to watch an ad. Shush, shush, you, shush. Okay, so we can see our comments. I got to clean my glasses off because I can't see anything. Yeah, the TBC bushings are awesome. And like I said, I really like Brian's tbcbushings.com. The ones that Chad sells are really good too. But if you want the best, Brian makes, they're just a little bit thicker. They're a really good piece of equipment. And I think let's just start off with the dust collector going. It's a little louder. I don't like it as much, but because we have a couple of things going on here, you might get a little bit more slippage. I'd rather let it slip a little than try and crank it down too hard. All right, let's stop it real quick, see what's going on. I don't know that dust collector is really doing a whole lot of anything. I got it way backed off, but I'm gonna turn it off because I feel like I'm yelling at you guys. My bed's still looking pretty, so hopefully we're out of the woods on that acid problem. We'll see though. All right, so there we have it. It's turning good. Now again, this rope was stabilized. So Curtis sent this in, Sits Crafting. That's looking pretty wicked right there. Look at that. And we got some good stuff here. So hopefully the diameter of this thing, I won't cut, the really cool looking parts of this rope away. That would be really awesome. Let's see here. I got frustrated by my own AdSense. I did. But I'm too stubborn to pay for the premium or whatever they call it. Oh, man. Well, you know what the problem is you don't give yourself YouTube ad revenue. That's what really pisses me off, is when I'm doing a live stream making YouTube money and then they show me an ad that I can't actually collect anything on because you can't collect ad revenue from yourself. So I'm like, ugh. So that's a little bit more. I usually don't get so mad when I'm watching other people's stuff, and a lot of times I'll just sit there and sit through them just to give them some ad revenue. Yeah. Don't show me an ad when I'm doing a live stream on my own stream, you guys. So it's pretty well rounded. I'm just going to take one more pass with the cutting tool here, and then I'm going to switch to the carbide. I do like the carbide. They work really well. Good way to go. But I don't like square blanks with them. They just kind of, and it's not the carbide itself, it's just the fact that you're scraping and those corners are just smacking it. It's just not the most fun turning on the planet. Let me zoom out a little bit. That's a little bit ridiculous. You can see my Crocs and socks, guys. What do you think of that? Everybody loves those. Yeah, I'm loving the look of this already too. I think it's really I don't know who picked the blue, but that was brilliant for this. And when we made that, I'm like, oh, we're totally making a nautical pen. I'd never turned one before. All right, this thing's getting a little bit dusty, so I'm gonna turn my fan on. Let's see if that'll just do, because it's not so loud. I gotta be honest, that just blowing the dust somewhere else, if you can get away with that, a lot of times, I mean, not to say that you don't need to wear a mask, you know, that's the best way to go, but I mean, really, I get pretty affected when I'm breathing, you know, wood or whatever kind of dust all day. As long as the fine dust is getting blown somewhere else, you're pretty good. I gotta really watch what I'm doing though, because these bushings are not the right size. I gotta watch out. So let me just show you guys, for anybody that hasn't run into this issue or hasn't done this before. So what I'm gonna do is we wanna find out let me get on camera, what the diameter of the component that's gonna match up, and I believe that they're exactly the same on both ends. The two parts that you're gonna press in. Pretty sure they're exactly the same size, which makes this is a lot easier than having to do two of them. So I'm gonna use my dial calipers to figure it out. It looks like it's about 530, 531. All right, on that one. Let's try this one. Yeah, it looks like that one's about, that one might be a little under, 530. So I'm just going to assume that around 530, 0.530 is going to be a good number, and the parts will match up. So what I want is the ends of the blanks down here to be 530. So I'm going to look and tell you guys what the diameter of these bushings is. It's looking about, it's pretty close. It's like 525. So it's going to be really close to these bushings, but it is going to be a little bit proud. Yeah, they're about 525. These were for the Gatsby Grande, I think is what they called it. I don't know why I even have that, because I don't think I have ever had any of those kits. But so now what I'm going to do is we're going to kind of look and see where am I at. And you know, I'm above 650 right now on that diameter. This one's going to be even bigger. 660. So I need to be sneaky about this. First thing I'm going to do is kind of take some of this material down. I don't want it that fat, so I'm just gonna, but in the back of my mind, it's very easy if you're used to using bushings to just, you know, get it really close to that bushing. Just when you're doing it this way, you have to remember, you know, watch your ends. All right, so sorry, I was looking at the comments for a minute. All right, I think we're gonna be okay with the rope. I think we're gonna get some cool looking things. So I'm gonna pick up some more of this rope though. I wanna make some more blanks like this and have a lot more of it in the blank. It's kind of being chintzy. Chintzy with the rope. Oh, just hit that bushing. I'm gonna wax my tool rest real quick because it's kind of hanging up in the middle there. I don't like that. So what are you guys all working on? Anybody doing something kind of cool? Having some fun? Stuck at home and bored? I hope that this, I hope we can get over this lockdown period soon. I know there's a lot of people that are really kind of stuck. I can't really imagine being locked up like that for that long. Paisley crew socks. I do. That would be awesome. All right, so hopefully my tool rest will be a little bit smoother now. Do I throw the rope in the oven? I don't think I did on that one. You could. It's not going to hurt anything. Taking a drafting class, that's cool. I took drafting in high school. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. All right, so now let's see if we can sneak up on these ends a little bit so I know where I'm at. I think these are a good 1/10 or so over. 625-ish. We need to be down to 530. That's not much. You got to really be take very light cuts. This is one of those things where there's a lot of back and forth. You know, take a little cut. And then measure it again. And remember, you're going to sand some of it, so you don't necessarily need to be dead on 5. You know, I don't necessarily have to be at 530. I just need to be kind of close. So I'm at, and it's kind of hard with these calipers because it's kind of usually I don't know. There's usually it's not just a flat thing, but when you're trying to get just the end, you know, you got to kind of line up your calipers right. So we got quite a ways to go still. Like I said, it's only 5/1000ths difference from the bushing, so, and that's way more than 5/1000ths. But although I don't do this very often, I've done it enough times to where I find that It's much better to take a lot of little nibbles than try and, you know, like hit it dead on the first try. Still quite wide. The other problem is it's hard to read that gauge sideways. Hybrid duck calls, nice. Now another thing that you can do, especially when you're getting really close, if you want to, you can take the blank off and kind of hold it up to one of the components. These both press in, so I don't know how well that's going to work, but in some cases, this may not be the best example of this, but in some cases you could actually, certain parts can actually kind of fit in there, and you can kind of see how it's fitting. We can always go back if it's proud or something like that at the end. We can always go back and fix it. Disassemble the pen and just, you know, do a little bit more sanding or take some off. But for the most part, I mean, you should be able to get it pretty close. All right, so where are you at this side? Still above 6. And then this one I think is quite a bit proud. Actually, that one's pretty close too. So we still got a little ways to go. Not too far though, not too far. All right. Left side's getting real close. Still got to take some off on this side. All right, let's see here. So let me zoom in and show you guys the blank. Show you what's going on. That's pretty cool looking, that green right there. Let me get this tool rest out of the way, maybe that'll help. So we did good. The blank was good to us. I'm happy with that. This rope is really neat. And it turned fine. I think, you know, it's a little different material, but it turned okay. I think it might be kind of stringy if you didn't stabilize it. I'm not sure that that would be the best way to go. I don't know how fun that would be. It might work okay, but I think it would, I'm guessing that stabilizing it made it easier to turn, less problematic. That side's around 600. Still. Oops. It's really hard to get this side. There we go. Oh, keeps falling off. Ah. So we're about 590 on the other side. But I think I'm going to take just a little bit more off of this side and the other. And then I think we're going to kind of sand, and you can kind of round it over a little bit to kind of cheat a little bit, just slightly. That way it's not really, it's not going to be proud basically of your components. All right, we'll give it a couple more looks here, readings with the calipers, and then I'm gonna sand it. I think. Sure that I'm at the diameter. So 585. We still needs to come down quite a bit. It seems like it's getting pretty close though. Feels like it's pretty close. Yes, so I'm about even on each side at this point. Whoops, knocked my camera. Stop wiggling. Okay, let's do a few more passes here. Telling you, the bushings make it so much easier. For the nicely cooperative rope. Thanks, Jen. I appreciate it. Yeah, I am very happy that the rope was cooperative. What's gonna... I'm not sure what's gonna confuse me? She cannot comment on her TV. I'm not sure what's happening here. Oh. I'm lost, guys. I'm already confused. All right, let's see where we're at now. I keep losing my glasses. we're still proud on that side, and I can tell that this side's probably going to be as well. Yeah. All right, a couple more cuts. Oh, this conversation? Bribe for pen blank molds. Oh, man. We'll see how far that gets you, buddy. We'll see. I'm not saying it's going to help, but I'm not saying it's not going to help. All right. I just realized that I usually can't get these things dead even with the bushings anyway with the round scraper. So it occurred to me that I should probably be a little bit more aggressive than I normally would think, because we're talking 5 thousandths. I mean, that's not much. Yeah. So we're gonna. I need to be a little bit more aggressive than I've been, I think. Take a little bit more off. Okay, let's give it a shot, see where we're at. I think that ought to be pretty close. Close enough to start sanding. Yeah. I think we can start sanding on that one. This one feels even closer. It's kind of hard to get an accurate measurement, like I said, on these, unless you made it totally, straight cylindrical. Well, that one's pretty close. So I'm gonna take one cut on this right side. Try and kind of clean up the look of the blank here a little bit, so we don't have to sand a ton of stuff. But I'm gonna take one more pass. I'm gonna leave the other end alone. I think it's fine. And then I'm going to give it a pass with the R2, the square cutter. I'm a big fan of trying to, just kind of gives you a nice smooth finish, levels out some of the tool marks you might have left with that circle cutter. All right, I think we're there. So like I said, I think this would be a lot easier if you just had the bushings. I wouldn't be messing around like this. We would have already been wet sanding, guys. I know. It would have been that fast. Okay, so we got a few tool marks. I think I'm gonna have to start sanding a little lower than I would have loved to start sanding at, but that's okay. I'm gonna bring the dust collector doohickey in a little bit here. I find it highly useful when sanding, especially. And I think we're gonna switch up the view here, guys. I think we're gonna try something different. Real quick before I move this thing though, I am gonna give you guys kind of a closer view here. It's a little dark right now. See if I can get some light in there. Seems like it's dark, I don't know. It's looking pretty good though. I'm pretty excited. Like I said, this blue was brilliant on this blank. Everything's just kind of working together nicely. So let me move the camera. I'm going to put it kind of on the other side of the lathe here. I just think it might be less of a problem with the dust collector being right there. Oh, hold on a minute. There we go. Let's see here. So there. And like that. And I'm going to turn on the light now. I'm going to see what that looks like over on the screen. Hopefully that should be nice and bright. Yeah, there we go. Looking good. All right, so I didn't do a fabulous job with the tool marks, so I'm going to start probably at 180. Plus, this rope is a little bit, I don't know how to explain it. You can kind of feel it, so I think it might not be a bad idea to sand that a little bit lower grit than normal. And dropping down a little bit further than I normally would will take off a little bit on these ends more, and it should even those right up to the size we need. So let's see here. Happy, is it your anniversary? That's cool. Happy anniversary. That's cool. Dave asked if I was going, yeah, I am going bigger than the bushings. But the bushings are 525, so 0.525, and the kit piece was like 5.530, so we're talking 5 thousandths difference. So they really, I mean, honestly, I probably could have just used these, and I don't even think anyone would have noticed. I don't think it would have been a blaring problem. To be honest, these bushings may actually be the correct bushings. I don't know. It's just the problem that I have with these pen kits is they have, a lot of times these manufacturers have like 5 different things that are like all the same thing, and you're like, you know, they technically kind of work for they could have worked fine for a couple different things, but they market a different one sometimes. So I don't know. I don't know what the true size of these are, so we're just gonna cross our fingers and hope. So hopefully everything's good on the screen there, it looks like. Okay, so we're gonna slow this down. 500 or so. And I'm sanding with 180 because I had a few tool marks. And that ought to take care of those tool marks a lot faster than me trying to start with 240 or higher. All right, so I'm kind of guessing that 5/1000ths is where I'm at approximately, just where I can kind of feel a little bit. It's obviously proud, but it's not like a huge deal. I'm guessing that that's probably the difference that I'm looking for, so I think I'm going to leave it where it's at and not focus too much more time sanding on the end. And then we'll just run up through our grits. I think we got the 180 good. So I'm going to switch over. So this is stabilized, this rope. So at this point, I'm just going to switch over. And I think I could put a CA finish on this, but I kind of don't want to on this first one. I just want to see what this rope looks like polished. Just want to see what we can get with it without putting any kind of finish on. A finish would give you an even sheen, across the entire blank. So in general, I would most likely, that's probably a better way to go, but I just want to see what it looks like. So we're just gonna go through and polish this thing. So we're gonna switch to the wet sanding stuff, and then that way I can turn off I can quit using the dust collector. Just get that thing literally out of my way. And good to go. So let me stop real quick, see what's going on. Oh, Kim can only see the chat. Is that what we were talking about? Let's see here. I think I'm good. I got lost. I was way in the back part. Okay, I don't think I'm missing anything. I don't think I'm missing any important chats, guys. I'm gonna turn this fan off too. It just tends to blow my sandpapers all over the place. And I don't want that. And I've been putting gloves on when I sand. It's working now. Since there's like a glove shortage, this may not be the best thing. I did manage to get some gloves from Amazon. I'm not particularly super excited about them. You open a box, right? So right now they're okay as long as once you get into the box. But the first, I don't know, how many are in here? There's 100 gloves in here. I'd say the first 25 are all just stuck together, and you try and peel them apart and they just rip. And I'm just like, ugh. So why don't you just put 50 in the box nicely? Because that's the same price. I really hope that Costco gets their gloves back in stock sometime, because I really like the Costco ones. They're really high quality and they're super cheap for the quality that they are. Praying for Costco gloves, guys. They'll get them one of these days. I know it. Ooh. We haven't even looked at this thing all sparkly and pretty. All right, so 220 with, and I've been using this silicon carbide paper for a little bit now, and I'm pretty happy with it. It works pretty good for wet sanding. And I guess I should qualify that. I still like the Zona polishing papers for the kind of higher grits, but for doing, 220, 400, 600, I'm pretty happy with this silicon carbide. It's just the wet dry sandpaper, basically. Just never really gave it much of a try in the past. I've always used Abranet, which works good too. And that's what I was using before. It's open, it's a screen, so it doesn't tend to load up as much. So I like it for just general sanding. And it works fine with wet sanding as well, but I don't know, the closed grit, if you're going to do wet sanding, I actually think that you might do better. I think there's more particles. This is all kind of theory, just maybes. But I seem to be getting pretty good results with this, so, it's definitely a viable way to go, and it's a little bit cheaper than Abranet, I think, in most cases. So we'll call it kind of the middle grits. And then the high grits, I like using the Zona papers. They work really, really well. And they are really meant for this type of application, for that higher polish of plastics and solid surfaces. All right, so let's dry this off and see where we're at. That should be good enough, I would think. Just guessing, but kind of think I gave it enough on 220. I don't know. Let's see. See where we're at. Ooh. Wow. Haven't had a chance to actually look at what the sanding's looking like, but man, you guys got to see this. Not centered yet. Let's see here. There we go. This might be tough to... There we go. We got it. Check this out. Wow. This is pretty awesome looking. I'm digging it. I think this is going to go good on that pen kit. Nice. All right, so I'm gonna get a brighter light on. Find it a lot easier to get a super bright raking light behind the blank, kind of angling towards you, and then you can kind of get your head in the right position where you can actually see the scratch marks. And if you have a good eye, you can kind of tell the difference between 220, 180. A good way to make sure that you've gotten all the 180 grit scratches out is to sand the opposite direction. So like, let's say, you know, I had it spinning with the 180. And then with 220, you could just sand this way. And once all the radial scratches, the ones that are going, you know, around the blank are gone, then you know that you've gotten the 180 grit scratches out. You can move up to, you know, the next one to get the 220 grit scratches out. And on that step, then you would go back to the radial sanding. So that's one way of doing it. Sometimes not necessary to do all that, but it is possible. Just another way to go. All right, so 400 grit. And this stuff has been lasting forever. Like, and I think it's still working good. That's the thing, is I tend to throw away the Abranet a lot faster than this stuff. Now, it's kind of hard. It's not exactly an apples to apples comparison, because a lot of times I'm not using water. I don't wet sand a whole lot with Abranet, so that may be part of the problem or difference. But anyway, I don't know. That's the tough thing about trying new things and trying to compare methods of doing stuff, because a lot of times it's really not exactly apples to apples. Another thing that I found, years ago, I tried using, I've used almost every type of plastic polish on pens out there, basically. And I never really got particularly, you know, like they were kind of shiny, but they weren't getting, I would see scratches, you know, so obviously I messed something up somewhere, and I just, like, the polishes weren't the thing for me. But over the years, eventually I found buffing, and I like that the best. But I think one thing that's not a very good comparison is I've also kind of gotten better at sanding, you know, making sure that I'm getting every, you know, previous grit scratches out. So, you know, it may be worth trying out some plastic polish the way that the same steps that I was doing way before, and just see if it works better. I don't know. I do like using the car polish with a buffing wheel now. That seems to be that is a really good final finish I'm getting. So it's kind of tough. Do I even mess around? I'm getting excellent results. Do I even test this other method or not, you know? Anyway, it's kind of crazy. All right, so we're going to go up to 600 now. I think that was good. There's 400s. 1,000. Where's the 600? I just saw it. Maybe this one's one. There's one. Mini baseball bat. That's cool. Yeah, this stuff isn't cheap. There's ways to go super cheap, but I don't know. Oh, actually, I'm gonna wipe off. One thing that can also help is to wipe off. You know, when you're done with one grit, wipe it off because there could be little abrasive particles from that grit still on the blank. You know, that goes for anything that you're sanding. Not a bad idea to wipe off between grits just to make sure. Same thing, you know, for wood sanding. I would always vacuum off, you know, or at least blow off in between. If I was just doing flat work, you know, like a cabinet or something like that, I would sand each grit and I would clean up in between. So definitely, I'd say it's even more important for solid surfaces. They scratch so easy. Not a bad idea to do that. Christina made it. What's up? How was work tonight? Hope it went well for you. All right, I think that's probably good. I'm going to take a peek at this thing, see what it looks like. The light. Oh yeah, I think we're good. So now we're going to move up to the Zona papers. First one, and Zona is a brand of these. It's like micro mesh basically. But a little cheaper. I actually kind of like it a little better. I like these thin sheets better than those like pad things. Gives you a little bit more feedback in your fingers. You know kind of how much pressure you're applying. At least I do anyway. Works good for me. You can get this stuff at Turner's Warehouse. Chad's got everything. One difference that I just kind of thought of between, you know, I'm just going to try and buff this up, polish it up without any finish on top, and putting a top coat on. With a top coat, it's going to be just smooth. You know, hopefully it's smooth. You're just putting a layer of finish on top, and it's just going to be a smooth layer, and that's what gives you that even sheen and everything. One thing about just buffing it is you might actually have more tactile feel of the kind of surface of that rope. It may be interesting, kind of leaving that in place rather than putting a coating on top that's smooth. We'll have to see if that's something that's interesting. That's always kind of a contention on coffee bean blanks. You know, do you put a finish on it or do you just leave it so you can smell the... If you put a CA finish on, you usually can't really smell the coffee beans. So, you know, do you leave it off and leave them unprotected? It's a tough one. All right, and then go with the, so the first one, the first zone of paper is the green, and that's around 750 grit or so, I want to say. And then the next one is gray color, and it's about 1150, 2000, something like that, grit. Somewhere between 1 and 2000, I believe. And then we'll do the blue one. I have no clue what that one is. Somewhere probably 2000 to 3000 equivalent. And we'll go with the buffing and we'll be good to go. Put it together. Hopefully everything goes good. So the blue one. What's up, Joel? How's it going? Just making a nautical theme pen. All right, I think that's good. Let's dry this guy off, see what we're looking like. I'll give you guys a view of it, and then we'll go to the buffing machine, aka the Comet mini lathe. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good one, guys. I've been on a roll lately. I haven't had too many super failures lately. It'll happen. It'll happen. Don't worry. Let me turn this off. Oh yeah. Look at that. That is pretty cool. I don't know if that's not a very good background. I'm going to put this under it so you can kind of have something a little different to look at there. Pretty cool. I'm digging this thing. I am digging it. Okay, so I'm going to move this camera over here. Somewhere. Zoom out. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to try and kind of move this little light out of the way so it's not just right in front of the camera. How about that? That's not too bad. Okay. All right, so we're going to go over to the buffing wheels. The first one I'm going to use is the Triple E, Tripoly. It's a brown rouge, not to be confused with EEE Ultra Shine. That's a totally different thing. That's not a buffing rouge. That's a waxy, who knows what, paste stuff. So Triple E and then white diamond, and then we're going to go back to the main lathe, the big lathe, and I have another buffing wheel that I can hook up in this thing that I use with car polish, and that puts the final shine on. Really happy with that car polish stuff. So big thank you to Ben over at Ben's Works. I was watching his how to polish plastic stuff and resins, and I was like, I should probably try that car polish, because his stuff every time would come out glass. I mean, just it literally looked like a piece of glass, and I was like, okay. Quick question. Would this pen be an example of filling a blank with as much medium as you can? Yeah, I didn't put a lot in this one. I don't know if you need to necessarily like pack it full, you know, but it definitely, there was not that much in the entire mold. The way I did this was in a 6 blank, you know, big a 5x6 mold, and I really didn't put enough rope in there, and it was kind of small rope too. So yeah, I would put more definitely, but I don't know that you need to have it like totally full. Let's see here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Dave uses car polish. Yeah, it's good stuff. Some of them work better than others. You know, they're all abrasive, so it's not like car polish in general is the best thing. It's just a matter of finding, what I needed was a super high grit, let's say, high grit level abrasive to do the final stuff on. Let me get a drink real quick and then we will buff. Do some buffing. Okay, that was really loud. I'm gonna put a mask on. You don't really want to be breathing buffing rouge. It's an abrasive. Lungs and abrasives don't go together. Okay, so make sure that you guys can kind of see. This blank's a little longer than a lot of the normal pen, you know, like the two-piece ones or like the Sierras. So it's a little bit easier to kind of keep a handle on for buffing by hand. Actually going a little fast. Doesn't need to be going super fast. And I like using this little tool thing. You can do it on top of the wheel. That makes things a little bit easy too. Just make sure you don't get that leading edge jammed into the buffing wheel and it'll throw it right behind you. That's never happened to me before though, so. I think that as long as you're paying attention, it shouldn't happen to you. I got chided by someone that said he was a professional polisher. So this is the wrong way to do it, and I don't totally disagree, but at the same time, when we're talking about levels of danger at tools, I really don't think that this is highly dangerous compared to a lot of fairly standard operations on other tools. So you do it at your own discretion. Your safety is your responsibility. So this one is the white diamond rouge. It's a little bit more, a little higher grit than the triple E. It's pretty high grit actually. This is what I used to stop at. But I'm definitely finding, there is one other buffing rouge. There's a blue stick that is higher than white diamond. But I've still been getting better results so far. I haven't done a lot of testing with the blue stick, with buffing wheel, but I think I'm getting really good results just using the car polish. So I haven't done much testing with it, but there is other alternatives. And again, I mean, it doesn't really matter which method you use. I just think that some people are better off, using certain methods over others. I prefer buffing. It just the action, for some reason I'm pretty good at it. I get good results and it's consistent. Other people may like doing something different, but no matter what you do, all you have to do is just keep going up through grits, higher and higher and higher until it's polished, fully polished. That's all that we're doing. So there's lots of different ways to do that. It just, you have to find the one that works the best for you. All right, so let's spin you guys around, right round, right round. I'm going to put these bushings back in the bag that they're supposed to go in so I don't lose them and get them all mixed up. I'm telling you guys, that is the one big drawback to pen turning. Bushings and drill bits. And to be honest, I usually just stick with like 3 or 4 different types of pen kits that have different alternatives, different options. I really like the Junior series because you can get some pretty, pretty different looking kits, but it's all the same setup. And I kind of started doing that back in the day. I was trying to sell pens, and I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and mess around with 15,000 different pen kits and bushings and drills. I'm just going to pick some popular ones, and that's what people can choose from if they want a pen. So that's how it kind of started, and at this point, I typically kind of stick with that, but the Nautical pen kit with the rope, it just seemed like the most obvious thing. So, when that happens, then you gotta go get all the right stuff. All right, so we're gonna hook up a buffing wheel over here. Let's tailstock out of the way. And this is another way to go. I have that arbor and I have that other lathe set up with those 2 wheels, but you can also just get, arbors that'll go onto your lathe. And this is part of the key to getting really good results on the final step. This is a string buff, and it's super, super soft. So it's not just the paste that you're putting on. It also the wheel has a little bit to do with the results that you get. Each of those other wheels is slightly different as well. So there's a lot of different stuff going on here, but so string buff, I got this at McMaster Carr, and then this stuff is the Meguiar's 105. Been getting pretty good results. They have one that I think they have a 205 that might be even higher, grit or whatever. But to be honest, I'm getting such good results with this. I don't really even know that it's really that necessary to even try the other one. Kind of stick with what works. As long as you're happy with what you're doing, then there's no reason to change a lot of times. All right, so the way that I do this, I like to wipe on some polish and then use the buffing wheel to buff it off, basically. The problem with these high polishes, they tend to just crud up in the thing. Let me get a toothpick so I can scrape the junk out. Kind of hardens up a little bit, so bear with me. Okay, here we go. You don't need a lot. I actually put quite a bit on there. And then I just kind of wipe it on. Try and get it all over it. Hopefully I'm on camera. And then I'm going to do it again because I've got some weird things going on here. Don't know what it is exactly. See if I can show you guys what's going on here. Might have just been from like the triple E wheel or something, but there's like some sort of a funkiness. I can't really see this screen either. Where was it? It's right there. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. I'm going to go back to the other wheels real quick because something funky happened with this. And it may have to do with the rope somehow. You know, trying to buff it. It's kind of a different type of material. I don't know. But I'm gonna go through and do the buffing wheels again just because there's something kind of funky going on. And I think I can get rid of that, and I don't want a funky pen. I don't like funky pens. It's ridiculous. So, hopefully you guys could see that. There's a couple of marks on there that it looks like, I don't know what. It's odd. That's all I can say. Quite odd. Yeah, because it comes off on this wheel. Probably didn't even have to go down that far. It might have just wiped off if I would have just used a little bit of water. I don't know. Doesn't hurt to just do it again. Not going to hurt anything. Okay, so we're back up to that point. Alex, there's no CA finish on this, so that's not it. We're just going straight on the resin. I may have been going too fast though, and it just kind of caked up on there. You never know. You just never know. All right, so back to this one. Lost my glasses. Okay, let's try this one more time. Well, how fast are we going here? I wasn't going that fast, but you never know. Okay. This time we're good to go. I don't know what that was. Something kind of crusted up. It looked like it was some sort of a buffing rouge type thing, so I don't know exactly what happened there, but here it is. Man, that's looking awesome. And so, like I said, I think that, I'm pretty sure that both sides of this, are equal. So it's not like you have to on this specific pen kit, have to pick one end or the other when you're doing the assembly. So that makes things a little bit easy sometimes, All right, let's bring you guys over here. Hopefully everything's still good. We'll get a light. Okay, so the ultimate pen assembly tool, the drill press. All right, so let me go get the kit parts. Where did they go? Lost my kit parts. Found my phone though, that's good. That would look great at your house. Shiny. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool. I like these things. Yeah, yeah, I know. I for many, well, not many years, but I mean for at least like 2 years straight. And it was when I got into pen turning, I would just get terrible results. Like they would just, like literally the pen blank wouldn't even be like round. Like, true. It was, now part of that was I was using a Shopsmith that was a giant piece of junk, but a lot of it had to do with those mandrels because they would just always be out of whack. So I need to grease this thing because really I want to get a different drill press. I think I might be, I don't know. I like the new Powermatics, but I've heard some negative reviews on those. And I think most people like the Nova drill press. So I've been thinking about maybe grabbing one of those things. They are pretty cool. Okay, so let's see. I don't think it really makes any difference how I do this. I'm just going to look and see. First, I'm going to make sure that you guys can actually see what's happening. Pretty much. Let me just do a little bit of an adjustment here. Kind of get you zoomed in a little bit more. Yeah, my arm's going to be right in the way. So let's see here. Let's do a little bit of finagling here. That should work, I think. Okay, so I'm just going to look at these two parts. Oh, actually, you can. How does this thing work? So the front one doesn't. That's weird. The front one doesn't press in. Okay. So the only part that you actually have to press on, I was right about that. So remember, if you guys were listening, you can actually use this piece, the front nib part, to make sure that you got everything dialed in. Now I'm a little proud. I got to be honest. I probably could have used those bushings and it would have been perfect. It's not terrible, but just a tiny bit proud on that end. You can't feel it, but probably could have gone down a little bit further. I think that I could have used the bushings exact diameters. But so just to let you know, you can use this thing to measure it. I thought it was a press-in piece. But what you're going to do is press on the back part, and then this thing presses through and is held in by the inside of that thing. So just to let everybody know what's going on there. I kind of like, I think this is the way that I want to do it. Let me... It's tough. Yeah, I like this. I like this little piece of rope kind of going into the nib part. Okay, so knowing that, I want to see, let's see where to put the clip. All right, I'm going to put the clip right here so we have everything ready. Okay, and presto. Whoopsies. It's going in a little crooked. Don't you do it. The thing's kind of a weird, it's not flat. But don't you worry, guys. I got this. I think. Okay. There we go. Yeah, it's a little proud. I might go back and fix that. And then I liked... There we go. What do you think of that? And I like this little, the little rope kind of going up and meeting the nib there. That one's pretty cool. Let me move the camera a little bit so I can get a better angle on this and give you guys a shot. In fact, I think I'm going to come over here because there's really good lighting. Sorry. The tripod's not working with me here. Okay. Probably should have put the ink in, huh? Let's see. So to change the ink, you just unscrew this piece. Oh, I lost the spring. That goes in there, I think. There we go. Screw it back together. And I think you use, how does this work? Maybe I should read the instructions on how this thing works, because I don't know what's going on. Twisting the ends. Whoops, whoops. I don't know how this thing works, guys. Anybody know? It's not twisting. Let me look at something else. I have another kit. I'm just wondering if something's funky with this kit for some reason. Nope. Well, I don't know, guys. This thing ain't twisting. Let me find my phone, see what you guys are saying. Pull the top off. Is it IKEA? Twist the top. Yeah, I know. It's, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure if the plan came together or not yet. I've never done one of these pen kits, so I'm not well versed in what's going on with it. Just give me one second. Yeah, you do press that one on. Press this into either end. Remove the protector off the refill. Did that. Slide spring. Screw the mechanism into the front end assembly. Problem is they're not telling me what. Oh. I don't know, guys. I have no clue how this works. It should, in theory, twist and make the pen come out. It's not a... Yeah, okay, so just pull it off, but how does this thing work? That's what I don't understand. Maybe... Oh, okay. All right, let's try. I think I know what you're saying. I lost the spring now. There it is. Told you guys, this is why I stick with just the same like 5 pens, because otherwise you're like, what? How does this thing work? I don't know. All right, so I put the refill in there, and obviously this thing works fine. So I think, was it Ted? Who said that? Just pull it out. Yeah, Ted said, thank you for saying that. So to change the ink, you just pull the thing out. Okay, and then hopefully, oh, come on, get in there. You push it back together. Then, there we go. Oh, it takes a genius to figure out these newfangled pens. Thanks, Ted. I'm digging it. This thing's pretty cool. Looks like a little submarine. It's a really cool looking kit, though. I mean, it's like super fancy. Look at all this detail. And there's rope in there. Look at that. There's rope on the kit, and there's rope in the pen blank. Look at that. And then there's a little ship on the front. Like an engraved ship. And look, it even turns and twists like a normal pen does. Ooh, look, there's more rope on the front too. Pretty sweet. All right, we figured the pen out. I'm okay, guys. I need some help from time to time, you know? It's tough. It's tough being a pen turner. All these crazy kits. So, anyway, I figured it out finally. Now I can see, it's a little bit brighter over here. I don't know, this camera's terrible. I don't know why I even try. it's not working. Anyway, I had fun turning it, and it turned out great. So I haven't even really sat here and looked at it yet. So let me look at this thing. Gotta be honest, I'm not super thrilled about the thickness of the ends. Let me see if I can get a shot of this. You guys probably saw it. It's not really matching up to the, let me see. I mean, it's close, but it's obvious. It's proud of the hardware on both ends. So I think I'm gonna finish that. This is another reason why I didn't really want to put a CA finish on. I wanted to see how this ended up turning out. Now let's see. Before I go, you guys can't even see what I'm doing because the camera's not on this camera. Where's my camera crew? It's getting late, guys. It's getting late. There. Okay. I know. You guys are probably yelling at me in the comments. All right, now, yeah, I can do better. It's not terrible, and it's not like you can really feel it. It's not noticeable, but I know it's there. So, and it's a quick, easy thing. I can just pull all the parts apart, just tap out the one end, stick it back on the lathe, and just nibble down a little bit more off those ends, and it'll be like perfect. So I think I'm going to do that. One thing I wanted to mention what I kind of think about just doing the CA finish. So let me actually, I'm going to have to go and rebuff this anyway. So there's little fuzzy things, kind of. Couple little fuzzies. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to feel this. It's not like, it doesn't feel like rope, So I'm not certain that I would really recommend just buffing the rope. I think in this case it might actually be better just putting a CA finish on. I don't know. You can go either way. This isn't bad, but it's definitely a little bit more dull than the resin. So pretty cool looking pen though. I'm happy with this thing. Cool pen kit. And they're available at turnerswarehouse.com if you want to pick up the Nautical kit. I got a link in the show notes already, and I'll get you guys a link right now in the chat window. There we go. That's my affiliate link with Turner's Warehouse. So if you use that, I get a little kickback, and you guys don't pay an extra dime or anything like that. So I appreciate you guys using those links. So let's see here. Is there any other questions or anything going on here? Mistake eats at you until you throw it away. That one's not that bad, but it's not good enough for me, I don't think. Well, so in this case, the rope, there's nothing going to harm that rope at all. It's stabilized, so it's not like it's going to degrade or anything like that. For something like pasta or not stabilized wood, in many cases, stuff like that, where the embedded object could degrade, maybe that's a good reason to protect it. But I don't personally think that you need to put a CA finish over anything that's hybrid, but I stabilize most of the things that I cast in resin, so it generally, I could go either way on it. The only difference for me personally on those is, it's never going to be as shiny, as glossy as the resin next to it, like stabilized woods, stuff like that. So it's kind of, that's the difference for me. It's not a protection issue so much. The one, like for like pasta blanks that you have to put a CA finish over, I would recommend on pine cone blanks also. That's a good one. Even though I stabilized mine, I would definitely put a CA finish on. So I don't know. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying, like, for me, I don't think that CA finishes are necessary for stuff unless you really need it. So anyway, well, Ted, wait for this weekend. There's going to be a 10% discount. the discount code. I don't know if you hear at the beginning. We're doing a giveaway for these Makers Central, or not Makers, Makers Select is the brand. They're Turner's Warehouse brand molds. So check out my video. There'll be instructions on how to get entered. That's coming up on Sunday, but we're also gonna, and don't tell anyone, there's gonna be a discount code. Chad doesn't do that usually, so maybe wait for your cart till this Sunday and then you'll get 10% off. Maybe you can afford it then. So anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna do just a little bit of work on that and I'll get a picture up a little bit later, either today or tomorrow. What time is it? 4:45. So yeah, be looking for that. I'll make it nice and perfect and pretty. And I think I'm actually, so we've already seen what it looks like without the CA finish. So I think I'm going to go through, like I said, clean up those ends. And this time I'm going to put a CA finish on. So be looking on my Instagram and Facebook. I'll post pictures of it there either today or tomorrow. I'm not sure which day. I got a couple things that I need to get done for work stuff. For work stuff, you know what I mean, tonight. So be looking for that. But I appreciate everybody coming out. It was a fun pen turning, fun blank, and it's a really cool kit. Like I said, I don't venture away from the kind of standard ones that I usually do that often. And this was a good one to venture out and try. I think it's a cool kit. So one other thing that I need to mention. So this Friday is not going to be the normal live stream. It's the first Friday, so that's the patron live stream and like hangout and Q&A. So if you're in the Patreon family, go over to Patreon and you'll find the link to that stream. If you're not in the Patreon family, if you'd like to help support the show over on Patreon, we do these monthly Q&A and hangout type things. I'm going to do a demo. We're actually going to be, I start with like a little bit of a demo type deal at the beginning. Josh sent these in, tees and some jacks. Now there's these little rubber balls in here. I'm not casting those. They don't turn. You can't turn them. You can cast rubber balls and things like that, but if you try and turn them like that, the blank will like blow apart. So that's going to be the demo for that. And then the second half, the reason I came up with these kind of patron only like live Q&A things is mainly for the Q&A portion. And basically the second half of the show, once I get done with that demo, is just for the patrons if they have questions about casting or like anything basically. And we just kind of hang out. It's a smaller crowd and I can kind of answer questions like all of them there. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, definitely head over to patreon.com/nvwoodworks and you can join the fun on Friday. And then later on down the road, I usually cut out the demo portion and then I'll post that on YouTube. So I don't want to like short you guys on YouTube, but the Q&A part is really for the patrons. So anyway, I will see all the patrons over there on Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And the rest of you guys, I will see you. Check out my video on Sunday. It's going to be a good one. And like I said, there's a giveaway for the molds and a discount code. So be watching for that video. So anyway, guys, I hope you have a great evening. Go get in the shop, make something fun, and I will see you guys on the next live stream. Have a great night.